Hey guys, in this video we're going to do a brutal review for the Losi DBXL-E 2.0. This 5th scale behemoth is a really big car. It's pretty quick for its size, it's fairly durable, and in this video we're going to go over what we've done with the car, what we've used it for, what we've run it through, and how it held up. We're also going to show you the modifications we had to make it what it is today. And then at the end, we're going to go ahead and give you our usual review of the car, and we'll ask our 4 questions. Is it fun? Is it durable? Is it worth the money? And where does it stack up? Now that this thing's been run for a while, the numbers could change, guys. So check this out. Okay guys, so let's get right into it with the car and what it is. You know, this is a pretty good car. Out of the box, it's rated at 50 miles an hour. That's 50. But this one came up short a couple miles an hour, topping out at 48. Now this is with the stock motor, gearing, and speed control running at 8S with 60C batteries in it. And you know, it works really well as far as that goes. I added a couple extra Velcro straps here to hold the batteries in because, well, we get some air with these things, and I don't trust just a simple strap. You need to have a couple of them in there. So we went ahead and added the laterals just to give it a little more strength. We are running the stock servo. We are running the stock 160 amp speed control and the stock motor and gearing, and it is still fun. You know, guys, I really appreciate the way they build these cars from the factory. And what it is they do make a few changes. You know, it's necessary to change a few things once in a while, but at the end of the day, these guys know what they're designing most of the time, and what you get is what's supposed to be run. Now, modifications are cool, dude, don't get me wrong, but I really appreciate the way they build them from the factory, and a lot of times that for me is plenty. Now we can gear this up and make it go a lot faster, but guys, it's absolutely stunning the way it is. And not only that, guys, but it's just, you know, the way they design these cars, you know, they're designed to carry a certain amount of weight, run a certain amount of power, and all the drivetrain is geared around that. Now this has a lot of power inside of it, and it is a very tough car, but it does have its weaknesses. For one, we did very small amount of jumping with it, and now granted we put it in the air pretty good, and we did land it pretty hard, but not on any solid surfaces. Guys, you watch the channel, you know I don't dig skate parks. I'm not out to destroy my stuff. I take them out into real world situations where most people would run them, not going to skate parks or bashing them into curbs and stuff. Take them out into the wilderness, take them out in the wild, whatever I can do, run them as hard as I can without intentionally breaking the vehicle, and see what it does. Now, I did find some pretty cool air on the first time out, and we broke some stuff. Check this out. Inside the car, guys, you know, the braces for the chassis, and it's this piece here, and there's 2 of them that run laterally here. There's one here, and there's a top plate that goes over the steering right here. Check it out. See if I can get this over there for you. So see all them aluminum pieces across the tail and right over the servo cap right there? All of those parts are plastic out of the factory, guys. They're plastic. The weight of the vehicle is darn near 30 pounds when it's batteried up, and they made those braces from plastic. I'm a little shocked at that. I was really disappointed when I discovered this. However, and of course this is a marketing ploy, I'm sure, by Losi, but they sell the upgrade, and they're aluminum, and they're tough as hell. So this piece here, the front brace, Losi part. This piece here, top plate, Losi part. the aluminum rear braces, the twins that go to the back. All Losi components that you can buy from Losi. My disappointment with that is, in my opinion, for the amount that you pay for this car, which is staggering, guys, if you're going to shell out over $1,000 for something like this, it should come with the aluminum stuff in it to begin with. That being said, guys, you know, those components, they should be already in the vehicle, especially when Losi knows enough to already make the upgrades. Now, you're spending a lot of money for that, but aside from that, we did shatter the top plate. We did break the front brace. The back braces held up, but since we were changing them, we changed them all. And there's a video for that. I've got that online, so check that one out, guys. As far as the rest of the car goes, I really didn't break anything substantial. On the body here, what I have now is there's a couple of spots here where the screws have pulled through the plates on the body itself. That's really minor, guys. And of course, take a look at this. That is just hanging out in the middle of nowhere. So when you cartwheel, you know what I mean, is end for end, and you walk it down the path, it lands on that wing almost all the time. So as you've noticed, the Fox emblems aren't on here because I utterly shattered the original one, and we're up to the upgrade now. So we've got a new wing on the back. However, we do have some cracks in the wheels, and they're hairline fractures, and I was really kind of worried about it. And I've got them in a lot of the wheels here, and you know, they're hard to see, but if you look really close, guys, they're there. And after we run the footage here, I'll get one off and I'll show you what I'm talking about. But I was really afraid these wheels were going to shatter and come apart. So I pushed really hard to see if that would happen. Guys, the wheels are still holding up. I don't know what they've got in that plastic. The outside seems to fracture a little bit, but they hold up. I was really surprised. So let's get on with the footage real quick, guys. Check out what we've done with this car, and then we'll finish up at the end. Check this out.
Woo! Cover me. Oh, whoa! Dude! Oh my God! Whoa!
Okay guys, there's the run for the DBXL-E 2.0. You know, it's been months in the making. We've pounded this car pretty good and we think we've got a pretty good grip on what's going on with it. Like I say guys, I like to run things in the stock form, only upgrading what's necessary to make the vehicle more durable. That being said guys, this thing is a lot of fun to play with. However, we'll get to the questions in a few minutes. First, I want to go over the basic running gear of the car. The LEDs, it's landed on this quite a few times and the lights are still functioning properly. The body's still in fairly good condition considering the hammering it's taken. Inside here, the suspension, the front bumper, the shock tower, the shocks themselves, I've had no issues with any of that, front or rear. The arms are big, they're substantial. The shocks, they handle the weight really well. There's a lot of compression when this thing comes down out of the sky, and it handles it really well. On top of that, guys, the chassis is still straight, and you know, the only breakage we had is what we mentioned. The servo is still working properly. The speed control, which goes all the way from 3S to 8S, is still functioning as designed, and the motor is working perfectly. You know, at first I thought I was going to have to change the lubrication in the differentials to get it to handle differently. But once I got to playing with it, I like the way they have them set up from the factory. You know, the differentials here, this one does allow ballooning in the front a little bit more. It does make it push a little on the track. So if you're in a racing situation, it might behoove you to go ahead and put a little stiffer oil in the center diff. And one day we might get to that. But right now, for what I run in natural situations, and it handles really good for those situations. That being said, the braces, the pins, all the stuff that goes with the suspension, everything is still in great condition. We do have the one issue we were talking about, and that's this. Now these wheels, I love the tires. Let's get that right out front. I love the tires. They handle good. They feel good. They balloon a little, but they don't get crazy big, and they seem to handle it pretty well. They also have bead lockers in these wheels, guys, and the bead lockers work holding things together really nicely. But if you look deep in here, there is a fracture right there, and this is the worst wheel out of the bunch. And if you look at the front, there is a pretty good crack right there. But if you look inside, the crack only goes a short distance and stops, so it hasn't fractured completely. That's really tough plastic, guys. I am 80% impressed with these. I really like the tires, but I just wish the wheels were a little, well, more. I wish they were more. You know, they need to do something to make this stronger. If that center disc needs to be aluminum to hold up to the weight, keep in mind, guys, we're talking 5th scale here. This isn't some 8th scale car that weighs 12 pounds. This is a 30-pound vehicle, so you're going to want something that's just a little more. It does have the metal cup in here to keep you from spinning out the center hub, and that's impressive. But honestly, it hasn't come apart yet, guys, but you can see the pressure that it's been put under, and you can see that eventually this is going to fail. So to get right down to it, let's go ahead and go over what actually comes in the car. You get the Firma ESC speed control, and that one is 160 amps. That is a pretty good speed control, and it handles 8S quite nicely. It's got a really good servo in it, you know, and it's a 5th scale servo, and it's that S906. It's a pretty good servo. I'd say it's not blisteringly fast, but it's adequate to the task at hand. And the motor is a 780 kV, and it's also a Spectrum motor, and it works really well. With the gearing that's in there, it's got plenty of power, and it's a lot of fun. So I guess that about covers what we've got there, guys. Now it's time to get on to our 4 questions. Question 1, is it fun? Absolutely, this thing's fun. You know, the thing about this car is, you don't expect it to be as nimble as it is for the size of the vehicle. At first, you know, if you start out with a smaller battery, put a 3 or 4S in it and goof around with that, which is kind of how I started out with it, it wasn't all that impressive. But once you kick it up to 8S, this thing will shock you as fast as it is for the size that it is, the amount of grunt that it has, and the ability to handle and corner. Guys, this thing is an utter blast. But then again, for the price tag, it better be. And with that said, as far as fun goes, I'm going to rate this one 8 out of 10 for fun. You know, as far as that goes, the downside to this one, guys, is it is just about 30 pounds and you do have to move it around when the batteries die. Question number 2, durability. Is it durable? Well, you know, overall, it's really durable. I mean, everything, like I just said earlier, everything in the front end, all the differentials, everything, the drivetrain, the whole situation in here held up perfectly. The body, the cage, you know, I wasn't nice to this car. The cage, the body, everything. I got a little damage in one of the wheels here, and we broke the braces, which should have been aluminum in the first place. And because of that, guys, because of all of that, we're going to give it 8 out of 10 for durability. Question 3, is it worth the money? You know, and this one's always subjective, guys, especially when we get into these bigger cars. This thing right here was well over $1,000 out of the pocket just to get the car. And then I had about $150 worth of upgrades to put into it to make it the car that it is right now. Now, we haven't done anything with the wheels yet, and that will be upcoming, but I'm going to make those fail before I do so. And they've held up for months, not 4, more than that. And we have taken this out and had a really good time with it. Now, if you can afford this, if you can afford the price tag on this thing, is it worth the money? If you've got the place to run it, because this isn't something you're going to play with in the driveway. This isn't something you're going to go out on the street and run up and down the road, because if you get out of pocket, at the speed that goes, just about 50 miles an hour, weighing 30 pounds, do the math, guys, you're going to crush whatever you run into. If a dog runs out in front of you, a small kid darts out from between the cars, this is going to shatter bones if it hits them at speed. So you're going to need the place to run it. And if you have all that, if you have the money to get the car, if you have the place to run it, I say absolutely, this thing is worth the money. For the size of the vehicle, they're hard to find. That's something like this. It's better than a Rock Ray, in my opinion. This thing is an absolute speed demon when you get it cut loose, and that makes it worth it. So for that, as far as value goes, if you know what you're getting, if you know what the cost of the vehicle is, and you have the place to actually use it, I'm going to give this one 9 out of 10 for value, because really, inside, guys, those parts, perhaps they'll have those upgrades in the next iteration of this car. Right now, the only weak points inside of it that I've found are these chassis braces. The rest is rock solid. And question number 4, where does this stack up in my collection? And of course, this is the one we don't give actual points to. This is positioning out of the top 10, and that's what we've went to, guys. We're only rating the top 10 now. So from the top 10, does this fit in the top 10? And what that means is, if I'm going to take 10 cars out and go play, if I'm going to grab 10 cars, this list is what I'll be grabbing. So as far as that goes, this car, one of my favorites, made by Losi, again, one of my favorites. I've really got 3 favorites that I really have as far as manufacturers go. And this is no particular order, guys. I like Arma, I like Losi, and I like Traxxas. Those are my 3 go-tos for overall durability and basher cars. And this, I know people are saying, this is a desert buggy, you're not supposed to bash it, you know. This one's mine, and I'm into bashing, so this is a basher. It's that simple, guys. I don't need a trophy. This is something I'm going to beat up until it's junk. But I won't beat it up until it's junk on purpose. This is something I will run and replace the parts, and when it's finally wore out, then it's junk. So until that happens, this right here, the DBXL-E 2.0, is going to take over the UDR spot in my list at number 5. The DBXL-E, number 5 in our list. Hey guys, if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. It's awesome when you do. You know, here at the channel, we really like doing this stuff. You get our honest opinion every time. We're not pushed one way or the other. We find what we like and we share it with you. If it's bad, you know it. If it's good, you know it. And hey guys, if you have anything to add, if you have any mods, any upgrades, anything that will help others with this, leave it in the comments down below and help others along the way. Remember, subscribe, like, share, and hit that little notification bell to stay informed. Guys, I'm AJ with AJ Jam Studios saying, keep bashing, guys.